The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
You know, there's a lot of shit on Tubi that I watch. A lot of really bad movies. And there was this one movie I came across a couple weeks ago called Leave. Okay. And it's really not even a movie, it's a short. It's about 37, 38 minutes long. And it's all about like to a Kenwood, a typical story. And there is a homicidal maniac stalking outside the cabin. Well, to cut a long story short, the final girl. Now get this, okay? This is just awful. The final girl is being chased by the maniac. Brand throws it at him to escape from him, and in the chaotic frame of mind that she's in, she runs straight into a tree and knocks herself out. This is happening deep at night. Then in the morning, it's early morning because you see the daytime, the sun's out. She gets up, she wakes up from being knocked out, flags down a car, and they drive away to be rescued. And I know I ruined the ending here, but it does not take away from the absurdity of watching this movie. It is absolutely ridiculous. But why should I be the only one suffering? I should let you guys suffer too. And you're going to suffer some more for about another 3 hours. So welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 490 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is the world's most dangerous podcast and is recorded in front of an undead studio audience here at Castle Wolfenstein. Also, within, also the lair of La Swag within the Raven Chateau. You're almost within yourself, if that's even possible.
Oh yeah,
within and without. Also from Casa Day 50, where some weird framing going on there, MZ. What's going on? Your head's almost cut off.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's see.
We see your gut in all its glory. There you go. It's better. And
Okay.
Also the lair of the gods, which is not on fire, thankfully. Aries smelled smoke about 5 minutes ago. We got all concerned. Well, what was it, Aries? Was it? Did you open up like a really old bottle of Irish whiskey or something?
I have no idea. I stepped away from my little area and the smell went away. I still checked around the house, but nothing.
You probably
I don't know.
fart smoke.
I might. I did have a little gas earlier, so might have been it.
Oh shit! It's like what's that fucking bear who does the PSAs, tells you not to light fire?
Smokey the bear.
Yeah. You're kind of like Smokey the Bear. Kind of. With smoky farts, apparently.
He is the bear in some circles.
Yeah, against his will. All right. So we are back. It is episode 490. That means we're 10 away from 500. 500 seems so far away until just this moment. But so 10 episodes until we hit 500. It's a big milestone, I suppose. I don't know what we're going to do. I haven't even thought about it. I suppose, yeah. 500. Does that mean we go into syndication, Raven Shadow? Is that what that is?
Yeah, we have a deal with TBS and Ted Turner. We're going to go into rotation. It'll be nice.
How does syndication work again? Was it you had to be on? Was it 100 episodes? Is that how syndication worked back in
It
the
was
day?
100.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 100.
So we're like super syndication.
Oh yeah, we'll be like on like after the View for the next like fucking 20 years. You know, it'll be like Brady Bunch,
Trick or Treat Radio,
Radio,
The Simpsons.
Simpsons. Yeah.
What else? What else would play? We'd have our own TGIF.
It will be, yeah, but I think we'd be like in the morning.
Yeah, it'd be
You
like
know.
it'd be instead of TGIF, it'd be thank God it's Sunday night at 4 a.m. That's the slot we'd get.
But there's a lot of shows that I used to watch when I would skip school. You know what I mean? That just you wouldn't.
Wait,
be in
you'd skip school to watch shows?
Yeah, man. I quit school because of recess. I just didn't want to go.
What the
man.
fuck? What shows did you stay home for?
Rat Patrol.
Wait, what? Rat
The
Patrol?
Yeah.
You stayed home for the Rat Patrol.
What the fuck
Yeah,
is
it was
Rat
Patrol? It was like an
What is
old,
Rat Patrol?
Yeah, tell us.
I think it was like an old like 60s or 70s like military show. It was like a combat group on a jeep. It was like a five group of dudes would have adventures in Africa fighting Nazis, and that was dope. Back in the day.
What?
You guys never heard of that show? Monster Zero.
Never.
I think you're getting the name wrong.
No,
I would
man.
be surprised if he is. He's getting something mixed up.
No, it was called the Rat Patrol, and it was awesome. The Courtship of Eddie's Father. That was a pretty good show with the Bill Bixby.
He's right. He's right. There's the Rat Patrol, and it was an American action and adventure television series that aired on ABC between 1966 and 1968. I thought you were the same age as me. What the fuck?
But I
You're
skipped
talking
a
about
lot more school.
syndication, right?
Yeah. Lost
Wait,
in
how was it?
Space.
How was it syndication? It only had 58 episodes.
Oh, it's fucking awesome. That's why.
Well, that wouldn't be syndication. That
Yeah.
would just be reruns
Reruns,
years
yeah.
after the fact.
Yeah.
It starred Christopher George, Gary Raymond, Lawrence P. Casey, and Justin Tarr.
Oh yeah, Justin Tarr. I know him.
Oh, well, look, if it has Christopher George in it, how bad can it be? The answer is quite. Still. But still, hey, Christopher George is a genre favorite, you know? Let's see, City of the Living Dead, Pieces, hello, Pieces, yes.
Oh my God, he's
Right
wearing the
there.
fucking shirt.
Jesus Christ. Okay, folks at home, this was completely unplanned.
Yeah.
Completely. Graduation day, so, yeah.
So yeah, Rat Patrol really did good for his career. Is what we were saying.
And Mortuary, he was also in Mortuary as well.
He was in Enter the Ninja as well.
Yep.
Movie. I love how Monster Zero has become like foreshadowing boy. How whatever we discuss, he has everything's in boxes, but whatever movies we discuss, he has right on
Yeah,
deck.
they're right there. Yeah, everything. His whole life is like packed away, but no matter what movie we fucking mention, he can just reach over and grab it somehow.
Yeah, an off-the-cuff Rat Patrol reference now ties back to his Pieces t-shirt.
It's fucked up.
This fuck. Yeah, look at this. Yeah, right here. Here we go. Yeah.
Here we go. Here's a copy of Rat Patrol.
Yeah. There's he's got the Blu-ray. He's got the T-shirt. Jesus. All right. Well, so anyways, tonight we got December double feature Cram Jam continues on, and we'll be talking about the films The Advent Calendar and Sator. We'll be talking about those this evening. Both films are currently streaming on Shudder, and I don't think Sator is a Shudder exclusive, but I do know that The Advent Calendar is a Shudder exclusive, and I guess it's a good time to watch it, right? It's that season. What are you watching, MZ? You watching that Rat Patrol? I see TV flashing on the back of your wall.
No, I am looking at Night of the Living Dead. What, I forget what it's called. Not that it matters. Night of the Living Dead Resurrection, a UK version of Night of the Living Dead, and it's terrible.
Oh, pass the brains, old boy.
Pass the brains. What's that? What's going on in your face, MZ?
Yeah.
Is that shit?
Well, what's wrong with my? Well,
Is that shit stash? What's going on?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That.
No. See, what was it? Was it yesterday? No, the day before yesterday. So Tuesday, I thought I would give myself a little trim, right? So I trimmed myself up, right, and I take the blade guard off of my trimmer just to clean it up a little bit.
Yep.
So I take it off, I clean it up a little bit, I put it back on, and then I put the blade back on, and then I just decide, I figure I'd go over once more just to make sure that I'm all right.
You didn't put it on.
Well, I forgot. No, I did.
Oh.
What I didn't put on good enough was the guard. In fact, it wasn't even on there at all.
Oh, that's what I thought you meant.
So when I went up like this, I'm like, that felt kind of weird. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Then I looked and I'm like, oh shit. So I got all this whole thing. I got all this, really scraggly hair going on, kind of trimmed down a little bit. And now I got a big bald patch on my chin right here. So I'm like, shit. Now I'm going to have to fix it. So what I ended up doing at first, was shaving, because it was just on the chin, a couple shots on the chin. I figure I would just trim, shave down the chin and give myself like a really badly manicured Derek Smalls type of look.
Or Hulk Hogan.
Where he's got the or no, Derek Smalls.
Oh,
so,
right, with the mutton chops. I gotcha.
Yeah, the mutton chops that lead up to the mustache.
Yeah.
So I figured I would have that, but that didn't look too hot, so I figured, fuck it, I'll just trim it all down. But I'm like, I gotta have something on my face. I can't just leave it like this. So I left a stash.
Why would you, out of all the things?
I don't know, man. But I don't know, man. But I mean, I look like Dennis Franz now. For Christ's sake, I hate this.
So fucking trim it.
Hate.
Yeah, you're not stuck with it now.
Yeah,
you can just trim it off.
No, I know, but now it's been a couple of days, and now I got this stuff growing. And if I shave this down, then it's going to look uneven, and so I'm just not even going to bother with it. I'll just let it grow.
Oh, it's like Monster Zero PI.
And
yeah, right.
How big is your television? You're going to get a fucking tan from that thing.
I know. Jesus Christ.
Jesus. It's like a whitewash when the
32-inch.
32. Jesus, turn the brightness down.
Funky, man.
Double D popped in the chat and he says, hey guys, I just dialed in now. Did I just hear a reference to Rat Patrol?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Fucking Double D. Thanks a lot.
Easy down, boy.
And he says, holy shit, the show is fucking old. Either MZ or Raven Shadow made the initial reference. I'm sure of it. It was Raven Shadow.
Yeah.
He used to skip school for Rat Patrol.
Yeah.
Well, that explains Raven Shadow nowadays. Anyway.
Yeah, it does explain a lot. What was the what was Rat Patrol?
Like I said, it was an adventure team. It was like a squad in like a Jeep with like a gun turret, and they were fighting Nazi bastards in Africa, and they would have adventures. They were kind of like a G.I. Joe like unit.
Nazi bastards in Africa.
Yeah, Monster Zero. I'm not sure you know that there was a world war.
Yeah, but, is that really historically accurate of Nazis in Africa?
Johnny.
I don't know. Don't ask me. Don't get me involved. This is your Rat Patrol thing.
Smart though. No, my grandfather was over in Africa fighting fucking Nazis and shit like that, man.
I'm not 100% positive, but he probably was fighting fascists.
Well, assholes.
they're all assholes, anyways, right?
Either way, he was fighting assholes over there. Those guys would dip.
Accuracy of this show is amazing.
Yeah.
Bring back that show. Bring back fucking Rat Patrol, man.
Yeah, let's reboot it with us.
Yeah, we'll be the Rat Patrol.
Hey, speaking of old shows, did you see what's coming out on DVD pretty soon, or at least Blu-ray anyway? Street Sharks.
Wowzers.
Oh boy.
All right, what's Street Sharks? I hesitate to ask.
Yeah, you
Come on,
shouldn't ask.
It was
Age.
well, it sounds like Aries knows because
I know, and unfortunately, I know.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, no, it's a
The cartoon.
an anime cartoon.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an anime cartoon tie-in to a toy line called Street Sharks.
It was someone else trying to cash in on the Ninja Turtles fad.
Pretty much,
Right.
yeah.
And it's made famous by, you could see Vin Diesel, like a young Vin Diesel, doing like commercials, almost like, and they were like big heads, like big headed, like leather jackets and shit like that. They were like, yeah. I mean, it's not quite like Biker Mice from Mars or, radioactive adolescent black belt hamsters, which came out in the comics too, which I didn't make that up. That's a fucking thing.
Yeah, they fought Nazis too. They fight Nazis in their hamster wheel
Jesus Christ.
against other hamster Nazis.
Now, you know what cartoon I did like? Monster Zero.
Oh god.
And Double D knows what I'm talking about. There was a cartoon called The Comic Strip, which would be another part of that morning block that I would skip school for as well. And
wait, what was it called again? Sorry.
The Comic Strip. And they would have different like stories. Like, so there was one that was actually Tiger Sharks, which was actually the same animation as like Thundercats and Silverhawks, but they were like humans that morphed into sharks underwater, and they would have adventures. And they also had the Street Toads or Street Frogs, which were a bunch of like breakdancing like frogs in like tracksuits, and that was dope.
Are you sure that wasn't Battletoads?
No, Battletoads came after it, and I'm like, yo, you guys are fucking copying fucking the Street Frogs or Street Toads. Whatever. I'm fucking 40, almost 45 years old, but it was in the 80s, and I remember that. But I'll forget loved ones' birthdays and my password when I go to tomorrow.
It's like UNMZ, like with fucking sitcoms, and like it's ridiculous. Like the shows that you guys watch when you were kids, like you don't forget anything about them. It seems.
It sucks because I wish I was good at.
It
Like, I
sucks.
know-
And it stinks.
Well, what kills me is that you guys don't remember it.
I remember
Yeah,
some
dummy.
stuff, but not as much as you guys. I purge, and add new stuff. I don't think you guys can add the new stuff part of things.
Oh, my data's full, as they say. They tell me in IT. I gotta delete my cookies.
You delete your cookies. Does
I
that
don't know
mean-
how to.
Does that mean? Oh, you want to find out how to delete your cookies?
No,
Are you
someone told
saying
me
you
how.
want to be bulimic? Is that what you're saying?
Do I fucking need to be fucking bulimic?
No.
Look at me. Could I be any more bulimic? See, this sucks. Monster Zero, listen, this is why you can't go, because you're the only one that fucking speaks my language sometimes. And that scares the shit out of me too, by the way. All right, whatever.
You're pissed.
I'm getting better. I'm doing better with it. I'm doing better. Double C makes me happy.
So there's a lot of chat going on in the chat room about this topic. Marion says fascist, more like asshole. You know what's funny? I actually I just pulled up that that quote recently. So let me go ahead and play it because it's relevant now.
Man-book. More like asshole.
Fucking love that. I should watch Manborg soon. I haven't seen it in a while. Let's see. Evil Corny says Dinosaurs needs to be on Blu-ray.
Yeah, dinosaurs. Yeah,
What's
you're the fucking
Dinosaurs?
What is
what, Bossasaur? Come on, man. You had a good. There was two fucking groups, and now not to be confused with Dino Riders, corny, but no, dinosaurs. There were two factions of like, good dinosaurs.
of dinosaurs?
Yeah, I guess dinosaurs you'd call them. And they had the power to shake the earth and shit like that. They'd run amok. They may have had human little kids helping guide them in the strange world. They might have been alien dinosaurs. I'm not sure. But it was around like 85, 86. DIC, DIC. That little fucking brand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DIC, I know it.
I'm talking about dinosaurs, yeah. They had like a
Yeah.
rocket theme song.
Eek.
Almost like, not quite like, they would knock fucking Denver the Last Dinosaur out the box, for those who remember Denver. That fucking dude. He was a punk rock fucking lizard that came out from prehistoric times. Really?
What the?
Nobody fucking knows what I'm talking about.
Absolutely no one.
No.
You're having some kind of a fever dream right now.
I have a vague recollection of it myself.
Double D says the comic strip was awesome. I remember it very well. It had Street Frogs and Karate Cat.
Oh, what's Karate Cat? Yeah,
What the fuck is Karate Cat? Jesus Christ.
he was an accountant. What do you fucking think?
He was an accountant.
And it had Nazi hamsters.
Corny says those cartoons came on when I was forced to go to church. I always thought atheist kids got to see the best shows.
Did, brother. I fucking did.
Evil Corny said I didn't like Dino Riders.
Really?
That's what he said. Yes, really.
That was a weird toy line too. That came out. So once again, it was kind of like you'd like it because it was like Transformers, Monster Zero. There were like two alien races crashed to Earth in prehistoric times, and then they, much like the Europeans, they just butchered and manifest destiny all the actual natural creatures in the land. So the good guys they actually all had developed this like necklaces that could communicate with their own dinosaurs, and they would ride them like beasts into combat. But I had a fucking Diplodocus. You know what I mean? I knew about that.
Diplodocus.
Diplodocus.
Are you kidding me? Dude, you were doing so well.
When was he doing so well?
For the past 2 minutes, he was doing really, really well. Everything before that and everything after that just sucked.
I must have nodded off. I missed the part of doing well.
Oh man.
They were big like serpent heads. They were all like almost like lizard creatures.
I'm still waiting for the part that this is like Transformers.
Oh, because didn't the Transformers go back in time? They landed pre. Oh yeah, so I guess it's not like Transformers at all because it's Transformers.
If you're talking about the episode War Dawn, where the aerial bots end up back in time during the second golden age of Cybertron, before he became Optimus Prime, he was known as Orion Pax. That what you're talking about?
Wait.
He's not talking about that. He's confused, and I understood maybe 3 words you said, MZ. So wow, Jesus Christ.
Allow me to echo Aries' comments. There's a lot to unpack in what you just said, little kid. I was not talking about that, but I am fucking fascinated about Orion Pax. Tell us more. I am fucking ripped. I know Double D is. What the fuck? The War Games episode? Come on. Why are you leaving, Psycho? Talk to me.
Orion Pax used to work in the shipyards in the
Sounds like a Bon Jovi song.
and he was fascinated by a new species of robot, one called Megatron, who could fly. The two got to meet, and under nefarious means, Megatron took over the warehouse, and Orion Pax, he didn't like that one bit, so he went to go fight him. One blast of his fusion cannon, and that was it. Alpha Trion repaired Orion Pax, and he became Optimus Prime.
Oh God, I remember that. Oh my God, I'm turning into MZ.
Well, now we know who the new MZ is.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's got a weird chill up my spine.
Holy shit. Oh, man. It's amazing. I don't even know what the fuck is going on here right now. Oh, man. Anyone else have any obscure references to talk about? Oh, shit. Evil Corny says MZ talked about Transformers like a Jehovah Witness dropping Watchtower knowledge.
Here, read my pamphlet. May I come in?
Yeah. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior Optimus Prime? Who would be the Jesus Christ character, or Jehovah? I guess in this case, would it be Optimus Prime?
Yeah, I would. Well, let's see. Orion Pax. Let's see. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. You got Orion Pax, Optimus Prime, and not Orion Pax. You got Alpha Trion, Optimus Prime, and Vector Sigma. Vector Sigma would probably be God. I would say Optimus Prime is the Holy Ghost. If I had to.
Oh God.
No, the Son. I would say he's the Son. No. Yeah, no. I would say he's.
Well, we know what MZ's going to do with this time away from the show. He's going to figure this all out.
Yeah, but wasn't Starscream an actual robot ghost?
Yeah, in the Ghost of Starscream, he returns to take over the bodies of other Decepticons in order for Unicron. Unicron demanded to have his head attached to Cybertron, so he could become whole again, become a planet again. So he gave Starscream 3 tasks to take care of, and he takes care of the first 2, Trypticon's eyes, and another one I forget what it is, but he attaches his head to Cybertron, but not before Unicron says, "Okay, I'll give you the power to become alive again." He becomes alive again. He says, "Okay, now make the connection." And Starscream's like, "Yeah, well, fuck you, do it yourself." And the other Decepticons come by, they see him, then they blast him away, and he dies a second time in that episode.
Oh boy.
That's the quick and dirty.
Corny says that was like Scientology shit. How many Therans in an energy cube? Oh my God. Unbelievable. Unicron, is that kind of like the latest strain of COVID?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what
I've seen the memes where the giant Omicron planet is like heading towards a planet, get ready to devour it. Yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen it. You made it. Don't bullshit us.
Not me, man. I'm not smart enough to make shit like that.
Oh man. All right. So I mentioned the movies. What else? I guess let's see what else we got going on. So there's some cool stuff coming up. Oh, by the way, Raven Shout, did you see the latest episode of Hawkeye yet?
I did. Mary and I watched it yesterday.
I hope Rocky didn't
Although-
spoil it for you.
No, I saw that mentioned though. Did he? Well, he made a point to say. He made a point to say, "Don't read the Quarantine Titans chat until you've seen the episode."
Yeah, he just I'm not going to mention what it is, but he came into the Forced and Sensitive group chat and just nonchalantly was like, "Oh yeah, that was cool that this happened," and none of us had seen it. We're like, "What the fuck, you asshole!" He's like, "What the fuck?"
And that's fair. And while it didn't happen in this one, and I love Rock so much, but he will drop science, like especially about like he's in a chat with Mary and I, and he's be like,
how many fucking
"Oh,
chats?
Snoop!"
How many chats is he in?
He's like,
What is
every
what's
yeah.
that called when you have multiple wives? What's that called? Polygamy?
Yeah, polygamist.
Yeah. What is he? A
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
chat polygamist?
Well, first of all, it's a bad idea. Once again, having had one wife, why would you want multiple ones? No, it's fine. It's fun. But yeah, he diversifies. He's like a part of every team. But yeah, we're in lots of different chats. But he'll do sometimes. He'll be like, "Oh shit, cue important thing in Stargirl," and I'm like, "I haven't seen it yet, bro."
Yeah, he's really bad at that. So we
That's
gave him
probably
so
how
much
you
shit,
felt.
and he's like,
I
"Oh,"
love Rock.
he was like, "Oh, that was intended for the other chat." So I thought we saved you from being spoiled, but then he went ahead and then said it anyways in the chat, and unfortunately you didn't see it because he told you not to. The fuck.
Lucky. I knew something major was going to happen, so I made a point to watch it.
Yeah,
I like to watch it on the, but we made a point to watch it before we watched one of the movies for tonight's discussion.
Speaking of spoilers, there's a lot of stuff coming up that could potentially be spoiled. I know everyone's like seeing the new Spider-Man movie right now. Its screenings happened today, so I know there's a lot of people who are worried about spoilers for that. We have Matrix Resurrections coming up in a few days, and also the Book of Boba Fett's dropping in like 2 weeks from yesterday. So some big nerd stuff coming up. Pretty exciting. So for anyone
And
listening
me-
out there, don't fucking spoil it. You don't need to be that person. You don't need to like pretend like you're the fucking coolest and you saw it before everyone else. And then also, MZ, you can get in on this. We got season 4 of Cobra Kai coming on December 31st. I don't want people spoiling that shit on me because I'm not going to have time to watch all 10 episodes in like 10 hours. So, it's going to take me a few days. So just don't spoil shit. It's stupid.
Right. You're not Siskel or Ebit.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you have a private chat, you know what? If you want to spoil shit, get a chat with Rock.
Yeah, he'll spoil it for you all day long.
Couple of open slots probably. I think he's
Yeah, he's
at like 4:30.
a chat polygamist. He's got some room for you.
Yeah, I love Rocky so much.
I just love giving him shit. Honestly, the spoiler 2 didn't really matter to me. I didn't really care. So I just love giving him shit about it.
And something, and that's the thing too. We even like just fucking let some things fucking happen. But yeah, just like listen, not everyone can go out. It's still a fucking pandemic, by the way.
I know.
Like, I get it. It's like it's bad enough. Like when Johnny, you know this. The movies I see in theaters are the big Marvel pictures, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? I do want to see Ghostbusters. I know Marion wants to. I want to see Spidey, but I'm just not ready to go into a fucking theater yet. Fucking
Same. Yeah.
I haven't gotten this far to lose the game in extra innings. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
But sometimes that happens though, Raven Shadow. Sometimes it's you lose an extra inning. So
it's fair. It's fair.
all right. Well, enough about all that. I want to let you folks know how you can help support the show. And one of those ways is Patreon. And we just recorded a new Patreon episode that just dropped this past weekend. And myself, MZ, and Raven Shadow got together and we shot the shit about the 50 States of Horror. and MZ randomly he uses app. By the way, MZ, if we ever do that gimmick, when you're no longer on the show, I'm just going to call you up and have you spin the wheel. All right?
All right.
Just randomly out of the blue. MZ, you still got that app thing, so don't delete it. So we randomly spun the wheel, and we got a state. I'm not going to mention the state. You'll have to tune into the Patreon to figure that out. But it had some pretty interesting films that we discussed based on that state. So, and one was very timely, as we found out that day, for someone who had unfortunately recently passed away. So, yeah, give it a listen. And then we also, the last half of the episode, we kind of did a bit of a retrospective on MZ, since it's going to be potentially his last Patreon show. I think MZ, he might join us for the year-end show, since that's an extension of the year-end, top 13 list. But, we obviously won't have time to have a, whole discussion about MZ. But we talk. He actually dropped an exclusive story that we had never heard before, which was pretty fucking funny. So there's an exclusive story never told on Trick or Treat Radio ever before, relating to a pretty well known effects makeup artist and filmmaker in his own right. So. So there's some good stuff on there, and then we just kind of talked about some of the stories behind the scenes and some other stuff with MZ. So if you guys want to check out that Patreon exclusive, it is I believe it's episode 29. Let me pull it up here. It was episode 28 actually. So it was Patreon exclusive 28. If you guys want to jump on that and get all the Patreon exclusives. You can get them all 28 of them, for as little as $2. $2 a month and up. There's other tiers that go higher as well. And we also have been planning out the rest of the year, and we will be having a Monsterpiece Theater Movie Club and a Blackout Tapes before the end of the year. So stay tuned. It looks like we're going to do them on, actually not the end of the year. It'll be on the first of the year. So I think we're going to do that on January 1st. I polled some folks in Discord, and it seemed like that's a good day for most people so far. So it looks like we're going to do Monsterpiece Theater Movie Club, followed up by Blackout Tapes on Saturday, January 1st. And we also have our year-end show coming up, and what that means is we want to hear your top 5 lists. So we're going to be recording that on the 31st. So December 31st, potentially in the afternoon. So just get them to us before the 31st. And just give us your top 5s. We've done this pretty much almost every year. It could be anything you want. It could be top 5 movies of the year, top 5 first-time watches, top 5 horror, for top 5 albums, top 5 songs, top 5 comics, top 5 books, anything at all. Top 5 asshole moments on the show, top 5 COVID variants. I don't know, whatever the fuck you want. And just if you do send a voice message or an email for your top 5 list, just in the subject, just write year-end show or top 5 or anything like that to identify it, so I know it's for that. And also, one other kind of programming note, I should have said this earlier, but MZ's final show will be on Thursday, December 30th. It'll be our normal weekly show, Thursday, December 30th. That will be episode 492. So what we're going to do is we're going to have, we want you folks, if you have blessings, if you have things you want to say to MZ, you want to tell him off for leaving the show. If you have favorite memories or just anything relating to MZ that you want for that show, just go ahead, send us. We'd prefer a voice message, of course, for that, but email would be also fine. But just include in the subject just MZ. That's all you need, just MZ, and I'll know that it's for that show. And so there's a couple opportunities for you guys to get involved. We got the MZ final show on Thursday, December 30th. And then we also have the year-end show, which we'll be recording on Friday, December 31st. And we want your top 5 list for that. So, all right. It's a lot of stuff. I'll remind you guys again, maybe either later in the show or tomorrow, next week, I mean. And maybe tomorrow too. Who knows? I'll show up at your house and remind you. But if you guys want to go ahead and help support the show, get all those Patreon exclusives, you can do so, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. And there you can also see all the other perks. You can get access to the entire Discord chat. You can join the Monster Piece Theater Movie Club. That's in the $5 tier. And if you want your own Patreon takeover like EF had last week, you can also get into that tier. So go ahead, give all that a look, and consider supporting us through Patreon. If Patreon's not your thing for whatever reason, we have a couple other ways. You shop on Amazon. I know, like it's getting close to the end of the holiday season here. Maybe you get some last-minute gifts you want to buy on Amazon, or, you're going to get gift cards. Go ahead and use our Amazon link. Go to trickortreatradio.com, click on the logo for Amazon. It's going to bring you to Amazon. It's going to input our affiliate link. Everything you purchase in that session will get attributed to us. It doesn't cost them any extra, Michael Ravenshadow.
But it's another way to help keep the lights on.
Deja vu.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Johnny? I've been thinking about it. I was in the bath the other day.
You were in the bath, okay.
I was downstairs. I had a little problem earlier today. And you know what? There's too much change. I'm going back to old school. I don't want to change anymore. Too much change. I'm getting
too
anxiety.
much change too quick.
Yeah, no, it's too much. I got to go back. I'm going back to the Raven Rooters and Shadow Puppets.
Oh my God! I don't even remember that shit.
Yeah. I'm going back to Who's Next, Johnny. All the old shit. No, yeah.
You gonna wear your Raven Shadow T-shirt?
Red and green.
At the same time. What you should do is cut it in half and sew it together and wear the red and green at the same time.
It's funny. I got there's.
Oh, you can't sew.
That's true. Marion probably can. She made those awesome masks for me and T-Dog, so she probably could.
Oh yeah, Mary. She's fucking fantastic. I did have a Guns N' Roses T-shirt that like the front half was like Use Your Illusion like 1. In the back was Use Your Illusion 2. I put that at Spencer Gifts.
Nice. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Support the show. And then finally on trickortreatradio.com, you can click on the store. And in there we have the greatest hits of Trick or Treat Radio volumes 1 through 3. I'm not going to do the whole spiel because I talked about a lot of other stuff. So those are the ways you can help support. Any and all help would be most appreciated. So give all that stuff a look and consider supporting the show. All right, Raven Shadow. Once again, it is December double feature Cram Jam. You got 2 fucking movies to watch. One of them's in French. I know Aries is fucking livid. But Raven Shadow, what do you do to prepare to watch the Advent Calendar and Sator?
It's fucking stressful, Johnny, trying to make it all fit. But you know what? What gets me happy is mail. And by mail, I don't mean bills. Some Christmas cards. I got one from one of our good pals.
Oh, yeah. I got mine today, yeah.
How awesome is that with the pup, and is that a marmot or a ferret in the background? I don't know what the fuck is going on. But that was good. But one thing I got in the mail that wasn't a bill was an early birthday present from my buddy Evil Corny. And what's that?
Oh.
A little DVD. Yeah, a little movie called Street Smart.
Wow.
Street Sharks.
Not Street Sharks.
Street Sharks.
That would have
Street
been
Sharks
awesome.
or Street Frogs or Comic Strip or Rat Patrol or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, Corny, listen. Next year. Work harder, brother. But no, Street Smart with Christopher Reeve and I want to say Morgan Freeman because dude wasn't young and during the electric company. He looks the fucking same. But I've always wanted to see this picture since I saw it discussed on Siskel and Ebert back in the day. And it's a reporter, Chrissy Reeve, made up a fucking story about a pimp. Turns out it's a real pimp. That pimp is Morgan Freeman. and he's got a little bone to pick with.
Of course, the black man's the pimp, huh?
Well, no, I'm sorry. Morgan Freeman playing a pimp. I'm in.
Do you want to come over and watch it with me, Aries?
Yeah, I might. Morgan Freeman playing a pimp. I don't know. That intrigues me.
We can get cheese pizza. We'll save that. That'll be fun.
Now listen, my brother. You can have her $6 an hour. But you better have her back here after a half an hour, or I'm coming to kick your ass.
Not too shabby.
You want candy? Here's candy.
You gotta
Candy, come over here and show.
You gotta get a little deeper, but it's not too bad. All right, continue, Raven Shadow.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited. I like what Monster Zero's doing. I like the idea of Aries coming over. We can have cheese pizza and watch this. So I'm looking forward to that. So you better believe, gotta strap on.
The following message is a paid advertisement for the Cult of Muscle podcast. The Cult of Muscle. You're either in it or you're dead.
It's the dawning of a new age. The halls of Valhalla have been shuttered. The heroes of yore have either retreated to the shadows or taken to capering for the amusement of the small folk. Their past glories a distant memory. The barbells have been torn from their once puma-strong grips. The beards shorn from their square jaws, only to be transplanted onto flannel-clad, puny weaklings with fingers barely powerful enough to strum a ukulele. The time has come, my brothers, to restore order from the chaos. No longer will our heroes be forgotten. No longer will their great deeds be viewed through a foggy lens of irony. Hear now our rallying cry as we scream it from the mountaintops, as we bellow it from iTunes and Libsyn and Facebook. It's time to join the cult, my brothers. So don your cloaks and enter the Cult of Muscle.
Thank you guys for having me on. It's a blast. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much.
And, Trick or Treat Radio, man. That's where it's at. That's the new Fangoria Radio is Trick or Treat Radio.
No. Don't say that.
It's like, you really put us under.
It's like swearing in church.
You just jinxed us.
Yeah. you put a lot on our shoulders just now.
Well, we can strive for greatness.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah,
you really are. You got a great show.
Oh, delicious nerds. Ms. M knows you like to chat it up with other sexy shut-ins about comics, movies, video games, and your favorite TV shows. If that sounds like you, cuddle up to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group, or the FIB. That stands for Fan Interaction Board. Just go to Facebook and search for Trick or Treat Radio and have more fun than a Jedi at a lightsaber sale. Not enough? Watch us on YouTube, The Deadites TV, all one word. Last but not least, check out the world's most dangerous talk radio show, Trick or Treat Radio, at trickortreatradio.com.
Dear God, no!
We're back here on Trick or Treat Radio. And we're going to talk about some movies. one at a time, of course. Let me see here. First, we're going to talk about the Advent Calendar. Now, this film is streaming exclusively on Shudder. I'll just pull up the details here. The deets, as they say. All right, so the Advent Calendar from 2021. It is 104 minutes. It is written and directed by Patrick Ridgemont. And as we found out when we talked about Titan, my French is not very good. So I'm going to butcher some names here. But we have Eugénie Durand, Honorine Magnier, Clement Oliveri, Yanis Abric, Cyril Garnier, Vladimir Perrin, and Olivier Bonjour as Alois Hoffman. And the synopsis: Eva is a paraplegic. On her birthday, her friend Sophie gives her a strange Advent calendar. It's not the traditional treats you find when you open each drawer, but quirky gifts that are scary and get bloodier. It's kind of a weird synopsis, but hey, it works. And the film was also written by Patrick Ridgemont. I don't know if I mentioned that. And so Patrick Ridgemont, let me just quickly check out his filmography. The only thing he has done previous to this as a director was a movie called Dead Man Talking. It was from 2012, and it's another French film. And aside from that, it looks like he's done some acting. He's got 30 credits to his name as an actor and only 3 as a director, one of which was a short. So 2 features, a short, a bunch of acting credits, and some writing credits as well. And this film, I don't remember if I mentioned, but this film is streaming exclusively on Shudder here in the States. So, all right, well, we always seem to do this in December. We pick at least one sort of, I wouldn't say this is a Christmas movie per se, but it is a holiday picture for December. And it basically takes place between December 4th, I believe it starts, 3rd or 4th. I can't remember which day it starts on. I think it's the 3rd, and then goes to December 24th. So, obviously that's the Advent calendar. Have any of you guys ever had an Advent calendar or seen one or any of that?
I have one right now.
Okay, yeah. I buy one for my child and nephews every year. Usually it's just chocolate. Nothing so terrifying as in this one.
Yeah, I have an Advent calendar, and there's chocolate in there to be eaten, if you want to call it chocolate. And
what else would you call it?
I don't know what I would call it. It's hardly considered chocolate. I'll say that for certain.
You got to get the one from Trader Joe's. They sell out quick, but it's good chocolate in there.
Yeah, I got the one from Christmas Tree Shop.
Oh, see, no.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that's not wax. That's chocolate flavored wax.
Pretty much, yeah. You're right about that. You're definitely right about that. It's
disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Oh man! All right, so Raven Shadow, how about you? You ever had an Advent calendar?
Oh yeah, no. When I was a boy, I would get one all the time. You know what I mean? You'd have to. Yeah, the whole gimmick was you ate a piece of chocolate every day, leading towards the big countdown to Christmas. But yeah, it was kind of like big chocolate. It wasn't like Cadbury up that motherfucker.
Well, it all depends on what you buy. If you cheap out, you're gonna get cheap chocolate.
It was the F Joe. You know what I mean? Like, and they weren't selling candy. Actually, there might have been G.I. Joe cereal that were like confectionated sugar stars and shit, but wasn't halfway as good as C-3PO's. Was that cereal? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it was the same cereal, just different shapes.
That's fair. That's fair. But no, yeah, I always had advent calendars, and then when the thoughts and prayers were little, I got them for them. You know what I mean?
Thoughts and prayers were little.
Yeah.
Evil Corny said, someone gave me one for Christmas one year. Did you yeah. Did you use it the following year, Corny? How does that work? What do you do when you get an advent calendar on Christmas?
I mean, the chocolate's gotta taste pretty bad the next year, you know?
Yeah. It's an extra special treat.
I do have a friend that did say that when her parents would give her and her brother an advent calendar, like on Christmas, so they had to eat all the candy on one day. So it's like, yeah, Merry Christmas. Here's diabetes.
Jesus. So I it's funny, like, as someone who didn't grow up in a Christian household, I don't really know much about them. I know what they are, but I don't know where it began. But apparently, it was first used by the German Lutherans in the 19th and 20th centuries, and then spread to other Christian denominations.
So, the Lex Lutherans?
Yes, the Lex Lutherans.
Lex Lutherans. And to be fair, I'm pretty sure Aries and I aren't Christian. I think are we Catholic, Aries?
Well, it's Catholic Christian. That's what we were raised.
You're asking him?
All right, let's. We're not getting into that. All right. I was looking for a little was just going to clarify a little something because we, advent calendars don't necessarily need to be chocolate. That's just the default for the cheapness that America has become.
Yep.
I mean, obviously in this movie it was all little treats. If you wanted to spend a little more, you can get a better advent calendar in this country. They have Lego makes one.
Yeah.
You can get one, Batman, and you get all stickers and little things and and whatever else. Chocolate is the default cheap advent calendar, but it's any little trinket just to celebrate the day.
Yeah.
I know my buddy Alberto has a Lego Star Wars advent calendar, and he's been like posting pictures of each day. So kind of cool. That's the only kind I would do, I guess.
Yeah. Those ones are expensive, though. I looked into those, the Lego ones.
Oh, really?
Just any Lego one, yeah. Like a couple $100.
Really?
What?
I'm looking at one.
Well, Legos are expensive.
I'm looking at one
That's
that's
outlandish.
55. Wait, let me see. What
55? Okay.
Those must be the black market advent calendar.
It says it's a new 2021 one. It's a 55 on Amazon.
Of Lego? Oh, okay.
Star Wars Lego, yeah. But
I mean, maybe because the month is half over,
Yeah, maybe. Previous years are really expensive though. Like the one from a couple of years ago is like over 200 now. So maybe it's a collector's thing. Like maybe they do a different one every year or something. So the old ones are more. Yeah, I don't know.
Was finding like in a vintage chocolate 1985 calendar.
Vintage, yeah.
Yeah. Bubble packs.
Evil Corny asks, "Is the Battle Pope the head of Aries' religion?"
Battle Pope.
Well, to be fair, I would say in Aries' religion is more like Norse to Greek.
Norse to Greek.
Judeo-Christian. Well, no, because Aries, yeah. Roman.
What are you talking about?
Mythology.
Mythology. All right, so let's jump into this movie. So Aries, I apologize, it was in French, but I don't know. This one for me, I didn't really. It wasn't as bad as like last week when we did the wind. Even the wind is afraid. Like they did speak very fast, and the subtitles were moving quick. And this one, I feel like I didn't miss anything at all.
Well, can I tell you, I had a
Yeah.
little bit of a panic attack because I put the movie on and then I clicked the closed caption button and immediately it says closed caption and not available. And I went, motherfucker, I'm not watching a French movie without closed captioning. And I let it play through. And luckily the caption just started on its own. But that was a little bit of a panic for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do it. You know?
The thing
Well,
is,
it's weird that you would bring that up because at the very beginning of the film, that you get what I assume are book quotes or proverbs, and they're both in either French or German. I can't remember which, but regardless, there's no subtitles for those. So I'm
Correct.
thinking, oh, shit, are the subtitles even working here? You know?
Yeah, that was the point where I clicked the button and it said not available.
Yeah.
Yeah, same for me. So they just didn't subtitle the kind of opening quotes,
Yeah.
which is kind of a shame. I would have liked to have known what they said. But so anyways, we have in this film Eva, who is a paraplegic, and we find out that I think it was 3 years prior, she was in an accident and lost all feeling below her waist. And she was before that was a dancer. So for her, this is something, losing the ability to use your legs is huge because, if you put your life's work is dancing and then you can no longer use your legs, I imagine that is pretty fucking shitty. So I thought they did a really great job of showing the handicap and how it affects her and how other people view it. Like when she's kind of moving through the world, like that dude that she meets in the pool at the very beginning, when he sees the scar and then he sees that she's in a wheelchair, he's kind of thrown off by it. And he's like hitting on her. And then when he sees that she's in a wheelchair, he all of a sudden kind of feels differently about it. So I thought that was interesting. And just the way that she kind of moves through the world. Like there's a scene where she's, when she went on that double date with her friend and she's trying to navigate through that bar and like people are like, feel so put out having to move so she can get by. Like just imagine what she's going through, right? Like, so yeah. I thought they did a really fucking awesome job of showcasing how she moves through the world and how it affects her and how other people are so put out by her being there,
Yeah, it's all about the human condition and like the kind of like the frailty of that as well. Before she was able to walk and now she can't, and now she's looking through the eyes of as a paraplegic, where, I mean, we don't know about her character that well, but she might have been like one of those people who feel put out by having to move, when she was able to walk, I mean, so, I mean, it doesn't dive into that. The way this is treated is done very carefully and very correct. I think they did it the right way. There's nothing mean-spirited about it. I think they handled it with enough care to make both people, both sides of the aisle, those in wheelchairs and those who are able to walk and stand, understand what the other one, what the other side is like.
Yeah. And I think that we've seen, I mean, I can't think of any specifically off the top of my head, but I recall seeing, some films that didn't really, I don't know, I feel like this did a good job of showing her experience as a paraplegic in the world. And, and that's something else, like we've seen movies like Get Out, or Promising Young Woman, where we get a really immersive experience for what, a black person or a woman experiences as they move through the world, So I thought this kind of was similar in the fact that we got to like see through the eyes of a paraplegic and kind of almost experience what life might be like for someone in a wheelchair. And I thought that was actually like, I think that they did I mean, I know I'm speaking from a place of privilege, because I do not need a wheelchair, but so I don't know what that side is like, but I imagine that this is more representative of that than a lot of other films that have dealt with something like this,
And I thought they kind of showed her still being angry about the whole situation. It still was fresh in her mind. Like I thought the guy at the pool, she was very like aggressive with him in a way. Like he was taken back by the fact she was in a wheelchair. He didn't have time to process it before she was on the attack with him. Like she was angry at the world because she's in this wheelchair, and anyone that showed any like difference to her, it was attack. And I thought that was very well shown. Like it was her anger and frustration at the world was just shown so much at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And yeah, seeing her frustration just in general, I think was really on point with the way that they handled it. So yeah, I think that, right off the bat, we get a good start here to this movie and get a real sense of the character and how her experience is and how frustrating this must be for her to sort of, contend with and kind of work through her life with. And even like the stuff at work was like first of all, her boss was a fucking shit show, right? But other than that, like, there's that scene when he talks about having to put in the bathroom for her, and how she owes him or something like that because, he put in the bathroom for her. Like, so he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart, even though she needs that. It's like a basic need for her to be able to go to the fucking bathroom, right?
And the comment about you're only half a woman or something.
Right. Yeah.
It was fine about.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's a total dick, and I mean, I don't know how you put up with something like that, It just adds. It's like the evil cherry on the evil sundae to have to go into work 5 days a week and look at that fucking face of his and know that you're nothing but a hindrance to him.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter how well you do your.
Yeah. So the friend who we later, I want to tread lightly on spoilers here, but I guess. Oh, go ahead, Raven Shadow. You got something?
No, I was gonna agree. I mean, like, she does have a best friend that comes over, and they have like, girl nights.
Yeah,
they do the thing.
And her friend lives in Germany, and she comes home like every 2 weeks or something like that. And so, since it was Eva's birthday, her friend Sophie brought her an advent calendar, who we find out she stole later on. But it's a really elaborate, like wooden, really, really well crafted. It's a really cool looking advent calendar.
Yeah, it's pretty badass looking.
Like I would totally have something like that and display it because it looks so cool.
Absolutely. I don't know if I think that was made for the movie or not, but goddamn, that is a badass advent calendar, and that's a sentence I don't say too often.
No, I mean, you wouldn't find that at Trader Joe's. I don't care how early in the morning you go. The ones I think we're talking about in America, at least, are cardboard little perforated tabs, and you get your little guy with chocolate. This has got bells and whistles and things of molecular structures.
Yeah.
I just want to rewind a little bit. MZ, how many times have you said badass advent calendar before this? I'm not arguing the statement. I'm sure that's the first time you said that.
might be the first and the last.
Yeah.
But it's certainly true.
Oh, it is true. I can't argue that.
Yeah, that was the follow-up to Bloodhound Gang's One Fierce Beer Coaster. His badass advent calendar.
Yeah.
That's good. So she gets the calendar, and it's all in German. Like, there's some kind of rules that come with it. And if you guys remember the rules, it's once you eat the first candy, you have to eat all of them, right? Like, you can't stop. Or I will get you, or I will kill you. It's like, eat all the candy, or I will kill you. What was
you dump me and I'll kill you.
Right. And there was one other.
There was another.
Do everything I say, or I'll kill you, or something like that, right?
Oh, follow all the rules,
yeah.
until the last door is opened.
Yes.
Well, sounds like marriage.
Yeah. So, and it seems sort of benign at first, like, yeah, this is kind of cute and kind of like, whatever. It's just kind of this gimmicky thing. But as she starts eating the candy and following the rules, we see that things are happening. Like, she she sees this guy in the park, and eventually is able to basically kind of put him under a spell in a sense, and they end up sort of like getting together and dating. There are some other, without giving things away, there's an experience with the stock market guy, I guess, Boris, who tries to, kind of have his way with her, and then she kind of, gets back at him. So there's some things that happen, and then she is seeing a string of events, and she starts to kind of notate them, so she can see sort of like what happens on each day, and then so it's almost like an elaborate monkey's paw, right? Like, you get something, but you have to give up something or sacrifice some things, right? So it's sort of like nothing completely original about that concept, but the fact that it's done with an advent calendar, I thought was really kind of an interesting way of going about it, because it adds a lot of drama and intrigue, the fact that it takes place over these 24 days. So it's not the same thing every day. We get something a little bit different, and I thought that was a really interesting way to go about it. Whereas a monkey's paw, it's typically like, you want this one thing, you have to give up this thing to get it. Sacrifice something to get something, and typically it ends with like a Twilight Zone-esque twist at the end, with like monkey paw stories. So, but in this case, it was different because it was an advent calendar that took place over these 24 days. And I just love sort of like the ritual of it, of like every night at midnight, das ist midnight, or whatever it said. Like, the head would pop up out of the advent calendar, and it would like cue her to eat the candy or to open it and to follow the rules. And I just thought that whole thing was really interesting, because it makes you wonder what's going to happen the next time. And each time the head popped out, sometimes it would be different. Sometimes it would look different. Sometimes something was different about it. And I thought that was a really cool twist on it.
Yeah, well, there was this German script on the back of the advent calendar, kind of etched in, and it said something on the idea of like, "Ich will kill you," or it says it in German, but they're like "ich," ICH, and "ich," and apparently "ich" is the being that's inside the advent calendar that keeps popping up every night at midnight. And I like how as the days go on, and the great thing about this are the doors, because it isn't just a little door that you open. There's a key, and they're locked, which kind of adds to the coolness of the whole thing. And it's an old looking key, and they're old looking. It's like skeleton key or whatever. So it really has that real rustic, old timey feel to it.
Oh yeah, and you can't open them early. She tries to open one day before midnight and won't let her.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just it won't even unlock. Yeah. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. And, I just want to continue.
Go ahead.
And every treat that's inside, it could be edible, it might not be edible, but each one, as her days go on, correlate with something that's going on in her life at that moment, and it's the results are damaging, heartbreaking, violent, full of revenge. So it's really cool how they play all that out, and also in terms of romance. Although I really had a hard time with that one, to be perfectly honest with you, because basically what she did was really not really cool. When you think about what she did to get this guy, and then on the flip side of that, you get the guy coming over saying what he said to her. I won't say what it is, but saying what he said to her, and she thought that was just, for some reason, she felt that was just great, because next thing you know, it's nighttime and they're still talking to each other. And I'm like, damn, you could say that to a girl and she'd hook up with you? Like, does that actually work?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I had a really hard time with that.
But that was what she wanted him to say.
Yeah, she willed that into existence, basically.
That word for word, that was what she wanted him to say.
Yeah.
They actually,
I suppose,
5 minutes before, that was what was in the movie.
No, I remember. It just, I don't know. It just comes. It just feels like that jumped the shark just a little bit.
No, it's that jumped the shark. Out of everything else,
out of everything in the movie,
Jesus Christ. The one thing I do want to mention about, I'm seeing this spelling as like each or eek. It looks like in different dialects it could be either one, but what it means is I or me. But there's also another definition that is self or ego, which I think is interesting in regard to this. I, once again, don't want to give too much away, but a lot of the things that Eva does in this, she's not necessarily against, right? There was like one thing she didn't want to do.
Yeah.
And I actually don't know why that had to happen. But other than that, like everything she was pretty much okay with. And that's why I think that it's kind of interesting that it's named, that the name of the character that pops up is Eek or Each. Because I do think that there is an element of self or ego involved in that.
I'm only going to speculate as to what I think you're talking about.
Yeah.
And as hard as I think it is for her to do that, I think at the same time it is exactly what she wanted to do.
Okay, that's interesting.
I think it was played out perfectly, the way it was portrayed. If I'm thinking of the same exact thing, it seemed like the yes or no was played out perfectly.
And we're talking about the day, the Advent calendar day, where something popped up out of the top of it, if that helps you. It didn't come out of a door. Something popped up out of the top of the box.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. No, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of a different thing.
Yeah.
My bad.
Because the one you're thinking of, yeah, I think she was okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The popping out of the top one. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
So
that's a tough one.
That's the one I can't really explain a way that she would have been okay with doing that. But But regardless, I think it's a really interesting examination because of her situation. She was kind of mad at the world, kind of like really down on herself and feeling sorry for herself. And I feel like this kind of gave her a sense of importance and power that she was missing. And I don't know, I really think that's kind of interesting the way that this all played out. And yeah, some of the stuff is pretty crazy what that it had her do. But I don't think any of it was completely out of the realm of like something she might have thought about doing anyways, right?
Yes.
So I don't know. I like that aspect of it, and the fact that it was German. I guess maybe because Advent calendars were originally created by, as I mentioned, the German Lutherans. So that's my guess. But the other thing I thought was interesting was that there was a rune on top of the Advent calendar, which, and runes have been used in other, it's not just Norse cultures. Germans actually use them as well. So that could be something that, as you guys know, I mean, unfortunately, the most popular rune in the fucking world is the swastika. That is a rune. And it was co-opted by the Nazis, and now you can never use that rune for anything, right? You can't use the swastika anymore because then people are just going to associate you with being a Nazi, But that was co-opted and taken by the Nazis. It was not something that they created,
Right.
So, that and I guess that's why that is something that maybe that's why the runes were used. I thought that was kind of interesting. But I think the thing I really liked about this was that the Advent calendar has a story to it. It's got a history, a lineage, if you will. And we get that scene at the beginning, which is just kind of tossed in. We get a scene that happens at the end of the movie, tossed in at the beginning, where she's recording that video and says, for the next person that will get this, and she leaves a video. So I thought that was interesting that they kind of dropped that early on. But it did, in a sense, I thought it was good because it put the thought in my head that later on when she finds the painting, it gave me a little bit of insight into that because I remember that scene where she was filming, where she made the video. So that kind of gave me a little bit more insight, and I had a feeling of where it was going to go at that point. So I thought that was good, the way that they dropped that in there. It did seem like a non sequitur, like just completely out of nowhere, but it does give you a point of reference for later on in the movie. But I did think that was, it's an object of power that has like a history to it, and it's like a relic that's just passed down, and everyone has their own experience with it. And that's one thing I think is really cool about this is it's going to be, you could tell different stories with this if you so wanted to, right? Like this could be a series, and it would probably be a pretty interesting series because every day would probably be different for whoever has the Advent calendar, right? It's not going to be the same thing.
Right. In theory, the doors are going to have something different. The Advent calendar, in its magical power, is going to morph itself to its holder.
Yeah.
So every door is going to be different.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So,
but in this one, not every door. There's like 3 doors that have exactly the same thing.
Well,
but there's a purpose.
But that was for her.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. Different.
Exactly.
Different for the person. The next person gets doors for may repeat.
Yeah. It really all, it depends on the person. So, yeah, I did think that was cool. And, I liked that we got this sort of larger concept when she visits the painter and then later on at the end of the movie. Now, I wish we could talk about the end of the movie, but that would be incredibly spoilery. But this is a movie that leaves the ending up to the viewer's sort of impression of like what they thought was going on, because it's not clear cut. At least, did you guys feel it was clear cut, or was there, or did you feel it was sort of ambiguous?
I felt it was clear cut because the rules were laid out on the advent calendar, and it tells you exactly what you can what you have to do. And I thought it was pretty straightforward. So I think the ending ended in a way that was satisfactory to me, because it everything that happened was supposed to happen happened, and it worked.
We're not positive about that, though.
No. Now, MZ, you're not wrong, but you interpreted it the way you wanted to interpret it. Someone else will interpret that differently because of their rules. You can interpret it different ways. And that is the beauty of this ending, is how you interpret their rules, in turn how you interpret the ending of this movie.
Yeah. And that's one of the other things I really dug about it, is that rules are always up to your own interpretation, right? And so they don't show us what the rules are in terms of like what the actual rule was that is in question. It's, like, I'm trying to tiptoe around this. The rules are written a certain way. So if you decipher them one way, we still don't know if that's right or not. Like, are you reading too far into it, or is it purposely open-ended for the user to decipher on their own? And that's the thing to me that wasn't clear cut. But actually, the only thing I didn't like about the concept of this was something they introduced at the end, and I'm trying to think about how to say it without saying it, but what happens after the calendar is done. If you were to follow the rules, what happens after it's done, that's the only thing that kind of lost me a little bit. I didn't understand why, when you finished it, a certain thing happens. That's the only thing that I thought was a little weird, because it's almost like maybe some of these consequences don't matter as much because of that rule.
Well, I think that was part of the open-endedness of it.
Yeah. And it could be.
It's part of your interpretation of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean,
because there's a couple different things that are open to interpretation at the end of this movie. Like, it's not just a right or left. If you go right, there's still another right or left, in your mind for the choices for the end of this movie.
Right.
And that is one of the things that's good about this, is it's not just black or white. There's many different tones towards the end of this movie that the four of us could all interpret this movie differently, and it's still, we're all right. None of us are wrong. We all interpreted it differently, but that is what is great about this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they did a really good job of giving you enough information to make your own sort of determination of what you think is going to happen, and then just not showing you the right amount so that you do have the ability to think about how you view that end. I think that's one of the things I really liked about this. So I don't want to talk too much about the end, but I do want to go back a little bit, and now we've kind of discussed the plot and kind of how things play out. I thought so there is not necessarily a creature, but there is a character in this that shows up from time to time. And I thought the the design of the character was pretty well done. It looks fairly unique, and creepy, but not like overly done. And I think it was just the right amount of makeup and sort of like costume. I don't know, like the mask and stuff like that is what I'm referring to. I thought that looked really cool, and I was definitely a big fan of that when that character was on screen, especially the scene in the canal or the water there. I thought that was a great scene. Fucking awesome when you first see that character.
Yeah. It looks the makeup is done in such a way where it looks monstrous, but it also looks human.
Yeah.
And so it goes in between. It's walking that fine line between monstrosity and human, and it's very, very well done, and very well played out. I really liked the way this character looked.
Yeah. Yeah, I did too.
I liked it because they weren't trying to outdo anything else. Like they weren't trying to compare it or outdo another monster. They just created their own monster, and it isn't any more terrifying than something else, but it is terrifying in the real world aspect.
Mm-hmm.
If you come upon this, you're going to be scared. And that is all a monster needs to do to be terrifying in a movie set in a real world.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think the gore that we did see was, it was somewhat understated at times, so we didn't have a lot of gore, but I thought that it was well executed in what we did see, and especially, I'll say the doll scene with her coworker there. I thought that was well done. Part of me wanted to see the finished product, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to see that, but I completely understand because it would have been difficult to do.
Yeah, that was well done, but yeah, I wanted a little bit more, but I think budget was the hold back on that. But what we did see was very well done.
Yeah, it was effective enough.
All right, Raven Shadow, you fall asleep over there?
Yeah, what's going on, man? You watch this movie?
No, I'm just listening. No, it's fine.
Yeah,
I want to watch this movie. It sounds really good. No, I dig it, man. Like, I agree. I thought I was gonna have a harder time with this picture than I did. Just from a personal level, with the issues of the main character, but I did really enjoy this. I thought the subtitles were done really well. And it's funny, the
subtitles were done really well. I don't think I've ever heard of that. They're gonna put that on the fucking box, Raven Shadow.
I was like, this is some really good. I was talking to Ollie about this. I'm like, these are some really good fucking subtitles. They weren't too fast. They weren't too furious. They were just fucking right. You knew everything.
Wow.
They spelled all of them correctly too. Bravo to them.
Wow.
But in terms of the monster, I was kind of getting like a real world Cenobite kind of vibe to it. Like it was like,
I can see that.
You know what I mean? Like it's fucking scary. And listen, trigger alert. There's a scene. It's not fucking terrible, but I could definitely say at least. I think we all didn't like. At least 3 out of 4 of us, or at least 2 of us, didn't like a particular scene.
Of course. I'm glad they didn't actually show the actual doing of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for a minute I'm like, what the fuck happened? Cheryl? I'm like, why would I fucking want to rewind? Did I miss it? I don't want to see that.
Yeah. So I'm glad that they went in that direction, but it still was tough to see the finished product, I guess you could say.
Right. But I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this movie, but overall, I mean, I was really into it. Like the magic of. Once again, you know what? Listen, big ups to my German brothers and sisters post 1945, but don't get German artifacts sometimes, right? Maybe just don't fucking do that. You know what I mean? A little scary. A little scary, people. Nobody?
No, it's you.
Fine. Well, worked out real well for everybody involved in this picture. With German carvings of, Liechtenstein, Berlin.
Okay, well, we know where you stand as far as the ending of this movie goes for you.
Well, no, but I'm just saying that there's certain countries of origin maybe you don't want to have supernatural fucking machinations.
So that's the only country?
No, it's not the only country. There's a handful of countries.
What's your top 10 countries that you would not want to receive a artifact from?
America 1 through 3. But no, I'm just saying that. You know what I mean? There's certain things, there's language that's angry.
What?
There's nothing scary about the German.
Dude, you're hung up on Nazis. That's a small fucking. It's like saying like America's all Republican.
It was a brief skirmish.
Or America's all Proud Boys. That's like the same. That's like the same thing.
Yeah, no, those guys suck too. Okay, fine, then whatever. But I'm just saying that. Well, fine. It was not a fucking. What was the country of origin of this supernatural machination?
We know it. We've talked about it. It's German.
Well, then it's fine.
I'm sorry, but you know what? You're viewing this as being a pure evil apparatus.
Yeah, it's not really. Yeah.
No,
it's not.
As far as the ending goes, like I said, it's open ending. You're viewing the ending as being very negative. We the other three of us apparently are viewing more of a positive ending to this movie, where this advent calendar isn't necessarily evil.
It's in the beholder.
Right. And that's the whole thing I was kind of talking about in terms of like if, the character that pops out of the advent calendar, eek, it does mean self or ego in, you could translate it that way,
Well, here's my biggest takeaway from the movie. The After 8 candy that was very prominent in this movie.
Yeah, that was all the dad's candies.
But like you guys have had After 8s, right?
I haven't heard of After 8s in like 35 years. I didn't even know
I didn't think they made them anymore, to be honest with you.
It's hard to get, but I used to get that when I was a kid back in 82, 83. And for those who don't know After 8s, they were like in a box, kind of like you get like your checkbook would come in. And they were all individually wrapped in like, like plastic wrappers. But they're thin mints. They're the fucking best.
Yeah, they were good. They would come in this deep green colored box.
Yeah, like forest green.
Yeah, maybe about the size of I don't know, maybe like when you buy the 4 sticks of butter, probably that size, in a deep green. And each little mint would come in its own little sheath.
Yeah.
And I remember them still. They're really, really, really good. But I didn't think they still made those goddamn things.
Okay, well, they may not, because this is her elderly father's favorite candy. So they may be going backwards.
Yeah.
To find that candy. That may be part of it. That was my interpretation. That they were pulling back, the magical box was bringing back something from the past.
My interpretation of it was that they still made them, because realize, that was her father's favorite candy or favorite mint. But when you realize who he was living with at the time, there was no way he was going to get whatever he wanted.
Right.
Oh yeah, he wasn't going to get them, but well, in my mind, I'm like, I didn't know they made those anymore. Oh, the magical box can make them though.
Right.
It's possible. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Sure.
I would still get them for Christmas up until at least 3 or 4 years ago. Yes, they have recently stopped.
Really? Jesus Christ!
I didn't even know they still made them then.
Yeah, you get mitts. I get socks.
Get socks?
I get socks because I'm assuming you get the mitts from your mother.
Oh yeah. Well, who else am I gonna fucking get?
Yeah. Well, yeah. See, I get socks from my mother, so
I can't wait too. I can't wait to get fucking socks and britches in a couple of days because I'm fucking.
I get nothing from my mother.
So apparently After Eights are still around. They're now owned by Nestle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe they only market them certain people or old people. I don't know. But here's this is what the if I'm not mistaken, this is what the advent calendar said. Oh, hold on. It's not gonna. Let me just try that again. Okay. Okay, let's try. No, not that.
Das ist Mitternacht.
Das ist Mitternacht.
What?
Das ist Mitternacht.
Midnight.
Yeah. But
Wie geht's in der Hand? Der Was ist los? Ich Stein Berlin.
If someone created like replicas of this advent calendar, I would want to buy one. It's pretty fucking awesome. So
I would want one. I'm not going to say I'm going to buy one because it'd probably be a couple $1,000s.
Well, yes, you're probably right about that, and I wouldn't be able to afford one. Marion says you can't mention anything German without Raven Shadow stating how terrifying the language is. So she posted a GIF. It says how German words sound like, and it's like this vicious werewolf creature. And then there's next to the vicious werewolf is a like golden retriever dog that's smiling, and it says what they actually mean. So they sound like it's a werewolf saying them, and what the words actually mean are like soft and fluffy puppies.
Come on, German. It's a language of love.
Language of love.
Achtung, got him.
There is sauerkraut in my leading house.
Bitter, baby.
Liebchen. Yeah, like Nightcrawler's sexy, but I mean like
Nightcrawler's sexy.
15 is my limit on Schnitzen.
Yeah.
I'm not from Havana.
All of a sudden, all of a sudden we're just doing fucking Blazing Saddles. All right, so I want to wind this down because we have another movie to talk about. But do you guys have? The way it was shot, I thought it looked really good. I think this is a really good looking film.
And there was some great transitions too, even down to when we saw the reveal of that character coming out of the water, how it changed.
Yeah, it was cool.
Used the colors, like there's some great fucking shots in this movie. It was a beautiful picture.
Yeah, it really was. Yep.
Even dealing with some difficult subject matter, it was still the pool scenes were shot beautifully.
Yeah, I think it's just overall it's just a really well shot film. A lot of really great stuff in it and the way it looks. I didn't necessarily notice a score that stuck out all that much, but I know Aries, you've said in the past, that's typically a good thing.
Yeah, if you don't notice the score, it's perfect.
Yep. But yeah, I thought that there was a lot of really good in this. So if you guys got nothing else, I think we can go to the verdict in just a sec. I got to change my audio buttons. Here we go.
Trick or treat, baby. I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, verdict time. We're going to let you know whether the advent calendar was a trick or a treat. Any final thoughts, starting with Monster Zero?
I like this. I like this quite a bit. It's a shame that we don't have advent calendars like this around here, man. I mean, spooky connotations aside, let's get some of those things in here. I think the character of Eva was very well played out. She was sympathetic. She was just a very good character, and played out, with a lot of respect towards those of the paraplegic community. Play with a sense of realism involved. And so was everyone else. I thought everyone else did a really good job with their characters and knowing what to do. I think the real star here is the Advent calendar, though, and just a character in and of itself, really. It's well paced. I like how everything is all tied into her life, and I mean, you guys see the ambiguity of the rules. I don't. I see them being pretty straightforward. But that's my own interpretation, just to let you guys know. But it's well shot. It's well acted. It's got a good pacing, like I said before, and it's got a good story to it too. It's interesting. It is like the monkey's paw, like you were mentioning, Wolfie. And where sacrifices have to be made in order for her, I guess you could say, a goal could be achieved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, this is really, really good. It's not perfect. How she obtains the boyfriend is questionable, but it is well played out, and it's not scary. I didn't find it to be scary at all, but it is a good movie. This is a treat.
All right. Treat for MZ. Now let's hear from Aries.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of good going on in this movie, and there's a whole lot of left to be interpreted in this movie. As we spoke about, I mean, some of the things that MZ has a problem with, I'm 100% on board with, and I'm sure some of the things that I have a problem with, MZ would be on the board with, and that's one of the good things about this movie is it's things that are left to individuals' interpretation, and it is one of those movies that is fun to discuss with your friends because there is so much left to interpretation with this movie. And as MZ said, there's nothing necessarily overly terrifying in this movie, because even though the creature is visually terrifying, he is only a rule enforcer. He is essentially this world's bouncer. He may be terrifying to look at, but if you do what you're supposed to do, you're not going to deal with him. And that is, I mean, maybe because that's, how I was at one point. I was a bouncer. I saw that, but that is exactly how I see this creature. And it is great. And there's so much good about this story. The acting is good. The big downfall of this movie, it is a French movie. But you know what? Get over it, because I got over it. This movie is a treat. Check out this movie.
All right. Let's hear from Michael Ravenshadow.
It definitely brought to mind like yeah, Ares isn't scary. Otherwise, don't fuck around. He'll fucking smack you for real. So Ares is kind of like the monster in this movie. That made me chuckle. But no, yeah, it's for a. Would you call this holiday horror, or is this more of horror took place during Christmas, kind of like Die Hard? You know what I mean? It's just the backdrop.
It's it's the backdrop, but it's also like we wouldn't have the Advent calendar without the time of when it takes place.
Right, you wouldn't have a Christmas party at Nakatomi Plaza if it wasn't at Christmas. But I like the interpretation in the idea that it's in the interpreter, it's in the eye of the beholder, or what. And could this be air quotes franchise and have different encounters with different people down the line. I'm not sure what the pedigree of the creators of this film is, but I'm definitely intrigued of what they do next. I thought it was interesting taking the paraplegic, viewpoint, but I think it was very important to add to the story. And truly, the scariest thing was that motherfucker in the fucking car ride.
True.
Was,
the fucking the guy, right? Boris.
yeah,
Yeah.
the stockbroker, whatever the fuck. That's what real fucking horror is. But yeah, folks, I think you could definitely. There are worse things to watch on Shudder, and this could be a good picture to watch. After you open your presents, get some Irish coffee and watch before you go see your family on this what's not Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving. Maybe Christmas is coming up. That's more relevant. But yeah, the Yuletide treat.
Yuletide treat.
Yeah.
Oh man, that works on a few levels. Nice.
It does. Hang on.
All right. For me, I really dug this. I thought this was a big treat. It's well made, well conceived. I think they give you just enough information while allowing the viewer to decipher the ending for themselves. It could be straightforward. MZ thought it was pretty straightforward. It wasn't so straightforward for me. And it does create this really interesting sort of fantasy of what if you could have the thing that you want most. What are you willing to sacrifice for that? And in this, we get to see what Eva is willing to sacrifice for it. So, I do think it's a really cool picture, and it's really well shot, well directed, well written, and I think that it's not super scary, as MZ said. There's some moments where I could see maybe some people getting a little scared, but for the hardened horror fan, probably not going to do that much in terms of scares. But it creates a world. It really plays by the rules, literally and figuratively, I guess. And I just think it's pretty fucking cool. When I first saw it, I don't know why, the first thing I thought of was like, oh man, last time we talked anything about a advent calendar is the fucking movie Deathcember, which we all fucking hated. So that was like the first thing that came to mind. I'm like, oh man, is this movie going to be like that? And I was like, fuck. But, I'd heard a lot of good things. It's been getting a pretty good amount of praise, and I'm glad we checked it out because it's really good. So if you guys want to, this is definitely perfect for the month of December. So if you guys want a horror movie tailor-made for December, definitely check out the Advent Calendar. It is streaming on Shudder. All right. Evil Corny says Aries is softening up with those subtitles.
Bite your tongue.
All right. So we're going to just slide right into the next discussion here. And we're going to be talking about the film Sator. And let me just pull up the details on Sator. All right. Sator originally was playing in festivals in 2019. So it took this film a little bit to get a distribution, but it's not rated. It is 85 minutes. It is written and directed by Jordan Graham. I'll say written, directed, and pretty much every fucking thing was Jordan Graham. He did the music. He did the cinematography. He edited it. He did almost everything. He was the producer. So writer, director, producer, cinematographer, editor, and film score. And he did a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. So it's pretty fucking crazy the amount of work that this dude put into this picture. And the film stars Michael Daniel, Rachel Johnson, Aurora Lowe, Gabriel Nicholson, June Peterson, and Wendy Taylor. And simply put, the synopsis says, secluded in a desolate forest, a broken family is observed by Sator, a supernatural entity who is attempting to claim them. All right, so we're going to be a little bit more brief about this one because we talked a little bit longer about Advent Calendar, but so we'll keep it a little bit more brief. But just to jump into this is, to me, more of a mood piece. There is very little dialogue in this, and I will say right off the bat, this is one of the most beautifully shot films that I think we've done this year, for me anyways. Some of the shots were just like picture worthy. I could take a screenshot and post it and someone would say that looks like art. There was many scenes that were fucking gorgeous, like really well done. And it kind of goes back and forth between this, panoramic, almost panoramic, like widescreen, where it was shot to a like 1:3:3 ratio or 1:6:6. I don't even know what the ratio was. Like almost like a square image with black and white footage that was shot.
Yeah, that would be a 4:3.
4:3. Okay. Oh yeah, I was talking about the actual like aspect ratio in film, but yeah, for screen size for like a TV, 4:3. And the 4:3 stuff was shot in black and white, which I thought was kind of a nice little touch. And a lot of that stuff was done at the grandmother's house. And the interesting thing about this is we see the grandmother at the beginning who is just doing automatic writing, which in this, is just writing what comes to you. And in this case, she was hearing conversations with a character named Sator. And so she was just writing down the stuff that she heard Sator saying. So, we're left as the viewer to think, is this all bullshit? Is she actually writing stuff that she's hearing? Is she a little crazy? We don't quite know. But, she is very convinced, and her family has a history with this character, Sator. Her mom also, was sort of into this. And so we get, like, it's mostly two characters. We do get a few other characters, but we get the brothers of Adam and Pete. And it's interesting because we see Adam, and then all of a sudden Pete just kind of walks into his house, and I'm thinking, like, who's this fucking like stranger just walking around this dude's house? But because the dialogue was so minimal, you didn't realize for a while that it was his brother, right? Ravenchow, you're in disbelief over there?
Well, that was fucked up too. Like I know you might have mentioned the synopsis last week.
Yeah.
And I try not to read the synopsis when I watch a picture. I try to go in blind. And I wasn't quite sure what was going on. Like, yeah, the intro of the older woman, the grandmother or the nana or Nammy, whatever they called her.
Yeah.
But I wasn't
Nani.
quite sure. Nani. And we see Adam walking in the woods, and for a minute I was like, "Is this some weird kind of post-apocalyptic thing where there's a cult?" Because he's hearing these broadcasts are playing.
Right, from his mother. Yeah.
So I wasn't quite sure, and like he's in these weird.
Well, there were cassettes too, just by the way.
The cassettes, and he finds the dog running amok, takes him on. But yeah, when he's in the house. And then
that was his dog.
But I get the sense where he just found him in the woods.
At least when the movie starts, it's his like hunting dog.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I missed that. Maybe I just thought he came across a dog in the woods and like we're friends now.
I mean, because of the minimal dialogue, he didn't. There wasn't anything said. But yeah, that was his dog all along.
Which is fair, but yeah, when Pete showed, I'm like, who's this fucking dude in this fucking joint with the big beard making a flask, or filling his flask rather. So it was a lot I was trying to interpret a lot of different things until I kind of got the cut of this movie's jib when they were kind of patrolling their grandfather's or their I would assume their grandparents' home, and they were checking for like deer traps. And, you know, when they had technology, I wasn't quite sure. Okay, is it modern time? When is this set? But then I kind of understood. But it was very minimalistic dialogue, and you really had to be engaged with this. And am I wrong in saying that one shot was one continuous shot of the intro to the house?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm referencing? Because I am a huge mark for one continuous shot, as much as it can be done.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually. I wouldn't be surprised with the way that it was shot, but I don't know.
So I was digging that. Now, there was a lot to be said for what was done creatively in this picture. But am I the only one that just felt they kept showing the same scene over and over again for the first 25?
No,
No,
only because I think it was just establishing a set of ambiance that you know, they'll show the same places, but they'll show the same places only to show that all is okay in those areas. Nothing more. Like you were saying, Wolfie, the shots here are just absolutely spectacular. It is to me this is it is the best looking movie of the year. It really is photographed well, very, very well. From scenes like just of like a landscape of the trees to the low shot of the trees looking up. Which is that those shots are breathtaking, just gorgeous.
Yeah.
There's minimalistic dialogue, even less of a score. Virtually.
The audio was really well done, though.
The audio just popped
it really,
in this movie.
Yeah, it really shined.
It's one of the big aspects of this film is the sound. Everything had a sound to it, but it sounded very organic. It didn't sound like it was done with much Foley work at all. It felt very natural, very genuine. The dialogue in this movie feels very genuine, particularly when dealing with the grandmother. I didn't look into it to see if she has any IMDb credits outside of this film. And between the time that this film was being made and now, she has since died. And that's mentioned in the film.
Yeah, this was her. This is her only role.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of had that feeling it would have been, because the only time you really see her is in the home movies, and so she's just playing herself. She's not acting up or anything like that. She's not trying to put on a performance. She's just being herself, and that's probably the best performance you could give. So she was very genuine, and I liked her a lot. And as well as everyone else, I thought the performances here were quite solid. I just feel like the story itself is not totally engaging. I don't think this is a film that would be attractive to your casual horror fan. I think I mean, and it also deals. It's also a film that deals with mental illness, kind of like a film like we did a couple years ago, Relic.
Yep.
And I got
Dementia,
a lot of that in this film. I got a lot of that in this film. But good performances all around. Yeah, I just really kind of wish the story kind of gave out a little bit more than what we got.
Yeah, and so for me, it builds up this character of Sator, and you're not quite sure which direction they're going to head in with it. And it is, as you said, it is a bit monotonous at times because he's basically running through the same ritual every day. He's checking the tapes, the cameras for deer, and going out and making his rounds and things like that. So it is very repetitious for a little while just to kind of learn his routine. But yeah, that's the thing for me as well. Like, I was okay with the lack of exposition, but I feel like it didn't commit either way. Like, is Sator real or is he not? And I mean, to me it seemed clear cut, but I could see that somebody else would think that it's not. You know, but I think that it created a really good environment and a really good sort of sense of tension, but I feel like it never paid that off, unfortunately. I think we did get some cool scenes towards the end when Adam is sort of like, involved in what the rest of his family had been involved in. And he'd been sort of like trying to distance himself. But yeah, there was some stuff with mental illness in this as well. But I feel like they didn't delve as deeply into it as maybe they could have. So when I look at this, I look at it as if this is a demo reel for what this director, Jordan Graham, can do, this is hugely successful because somebody needs to throw fucking money at this dude to make a film. Because he basically did all of this on his own in essence. Like, he did so much on his own. Like, if this dude has someone writing a solid script and he is given some money to do what he wants, I think he could make some fucking amazing movies. So, I mean, good, I think, and he's a pretty young dude. I mean, he's was born in 86, so I mean, he's still got a a lot of years ahead of him, I would imagine. So I hope that he does have the opportunity to do something along those lines because, he showed a ton of talent in terms of, being behind the camera and what he's able to do and how amazing it looked. So, yeah, I think as a demo reel, this is hugely successful. As a well-conceived, fully formed film, I would maybe reserve a little judgment on that because I'm not so sure. It has great ideas and it looks great, but yeah, I think the payoff just isn't there.
The director said, and I read this, that this is is partly autobiographical.
Yeah.
That this is what went on in his life. I think with his father, if I remember reading it right. And that the director had to keep on changing the story a little bit here and there because of the grandmother who is doing the automatic writing and is things that she's writing and the things that she's saying is kind of altering what his original vision of this film was supposed to be. So I think that's why there's some sort of disconnect from the viewer to what we see on screen.
Yeah.
So I think that might play a little bit of a part in why there's a bit of a disconnect, is because of the grandmother. As good as she is, I think she's also partly at fault for the disconnect.
And one other thing I wanted to bring up is that apparently it took him 7 years to make this movie.
Well, he did everything. Who could blame him?
Yeah. Fucking crazy, yeah.
which would make sense how that the actress would pass away during the time of filming.
Right, yeah.
But even down to the intro, like I love the way they tied in for what do you call the writings?
Automatic writing.
Automatic writings with the intro credits. And it might be a small thing, but I just thought that was done.
Yeah.
How in her writings it became even like the title of the picture or spy.
Well, it's weird that you bring that up because there was a part where part of the story, it's not a big part, very, very minor, but part of the story had to do with her writing down the name of the production company that made this film, which I thought was pretty interesting. I'm like, well, that's novel. I never thought of that before. I mean, sometimes you see the title being played into the film a little bit here and there, but not the production company. That's a little odd.
Well, sometimes production company is named after the film, like meaning like they'll have the film and then they'll name the production company after the film. That happens pretty.
Yeah,
frequently.
but what I mean is that a performer in the movie has something to do. Has a tie-in with the production company being mentioned in the film.
Oh,
that's what I'm.
I gotcha. Yeah. I was just kind of perusing an interview with the director Jordan Graham, and he did everything, even to the point where he built the fucking cabin that they filmed in. He says, so I built the cabin for the film, and that first day I leveled the ground in my mom's backyard and then put the cabin on pallets. Just leveling the ground for one pallet took me an hour, and I was like, holy shit, I haven't even started on this thing. He says, I was conscious that everything I was going to have to do would overwhelm me, so I told myself to calm down, take it one step at a time. I didn't have a schedule or anything. I financed it all myself. So he thought it would be 3 years, and it ended up taking 7. So,
but even the way that it juxtaposed from the film to even black and white to the recorded tapes of it, so it almost had like a weird, like Blair Witch, or found footage, quiet place type vibe. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. It used a couple different tricks to convey the story, and maybe that is more of the DUI. No wait, DIY, which is the bad one. Do it yourself.
That's the bad one. You don't like to DIY stuff.
No, I'm definitely playing DUI.
You like to what would be your method? The CA. I don't even know. Call Aries and have him do it.
Call Aries. Aries, can you build me a cabin? I want to film. And I want to film an action scene.
So yeah, and some of the stuff that you're saying, MZ, is interesting because I'm reading a little bit more. And so Jordan Graham says the biggest inspiration was the character of my grandmother. She plays Nani in the film, and Sator was very real to her in real life. In 1968, she brought home a Ouija board and conjured up Sator. She then spent the next 3 months talking with him through something called automatic writings. She sat in a chair with a pen and let Sator speak through her. She wrote thousands and thousands of pages across the course of 3 months. And then at the end of those 3 months, she ended up in a psychiatric hospital. And he says, I had no idea any of this had happened before I made the movie. Before I was shooting the movie, neither Sator nor my grandmother was part of it. I had a lot of budget constraints, and I couldn't find anything that looked as cool as the cabin. So when we decided to use my grandmother's house as an actual location, I thought I'd just put her in a quick cameo. We'll just do a quick improvisational scene with one of the actors. And he said when they meet in the movie is the first time they met in real life. I told him beforehand to talk about spirits because she likes talking about it, and maybe we can get some cool material. Then he came into the scene, pretended to be the grandson, and started to talk about spirits. That's when she, completely unprompted, started to talk about her automatic writings. It wasn't something that she'd ever shared with me, ever. She just happened to share it while we were filming. After that day...
Wait a minute.
What?
Keep going, and I'll jump in after.
After that day, I went home and I started to wonder about these automatic writings. I did a bunch of research on my family's history and her history, and then I became aware that I had something very unique. I was already making the movie by myself, so having my grandmother in it would make the movie even more personal. So how would I incorporate the story I already had with her story? That to me was the biggest challenge in this film, trying to get these two stories to align, because you couldn't get my grandmother to say anything. She's not an actress. She just enjoyed us coming over and hanging out with her. I would give my actors more prompts to get her to talk about the automatic writings. She would then talk about them in a completely different way, and I would go home and figure out how to incorporate this. There's a lot more about this, but go ahead, Raven Shadow.
So basically, he wasn't quite sure what the movie he was making until this element came into it. So
well, he probably had an idea. He said he had a story, but when this happened, his story changed.
And that's crazy. I mean, and the scene of Pete coming to, and even like the second time he's in the scene with the grandmother, and she seems even less aware of him the second time and talks about, who are you? Your grandson. Oh, you have a beard now. Oh, I was away. Like, and for anybody that, I know there's lots of folks who lived with a loved one that had dementia. That scene was very prominent. My grandmother had dementia for a long time, and I was always overall remembered, although some people weren't as much, and they may get blended with, grandkids or children. Overall, I was always recognized, but it definitely reminded me of those conversations of talking to somebody where there's a movie playing in their heads, and any attempt to stop the picture will be met with confusion and maybe frustration. So you kind of let that movie play when they're talking. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So
I think so, yeah.
When Pete was talking to her, he just kind of let her kind of go. And she said, "Oh yeah, I was here yesterday. I see you all the time." But you definitely got that sense of the second time,
because she
was different.
Because she did have dementia, and it just kept getting worse and worse, as he says. And so he was trying to get some more stuff with her. It was almost, he said it's almost a race against time to go and get her speaking about Sator on camera. And then he said he'd go home, try to find out a way to make it work into the movie, and then take a week off and then go back and try to get more stuff, And he said the very last day I was able to shoot my grandmother resulted in the opening shot of the movie. She said, "It's like he's in charge of me," and I had the camera on her for about 40 minutes asking who Sator was in order to try and elicit more information about him. And he said during post-production, my grandmother's dementia was worsening and she couldn't be in the house anymore where it was unsafe. So we put her in a care home. And as I was cleaning out her back closet, I found 2 boxes. One contained thousands of pages of her automatic writings, which my family believed that she'd burned years before.
So were the drawings and the writings in the picture what you found?
The automatic writings were hers, actual writings that she did, like in real life. They weren't made for the movie. So the movie originally wasn't going to be about Sator until she started talking about it, and then it became about Sator. And he says, I also found a journal documenting those 3 months with Sator. Every single day, about 3 pages a day. I always knew about him in the sense of being a guardian, but I didn't realize how much of an impact he had on her life. Now I realized, I had to do this, right? Pretty fucking crazy. It makes you think of the film in a different light, It's such a personal film to him, too, because that's actually, I didn't know this heading in, but that's actually his actual grandmother. Nani in this. That's his actual grandmother. and she did pass away since. So, I imagine that being able to kind of tell her story was probably important to him,
And then tying it into the family element where all the characters were family.
Yeah.
Wow. That's kind of fucked up.
So yeah, it's pretty nuts. I mean, the amount of work and everything that goes into this is just nuts, especially knowing it was all this one dude for the most part, and he financed the film himself. Pretty fucking crazy. It does make me think of it in a slightly different light, and just thinking about that and trying to think how he would work Sator in to the story, because it was something that happened in real life to his grandmother. Is pretty crazy, So the interview goes on, and he talks a lot more about it, but I don't want to just read an interview. People can find it. It's on flickeringmyth.com. You can just do, I think I just did a search for Jordan Graham director, and it was actually one of the first articles that came up. So.
And was he, I may have missed it, was he an actor in the picture?
No, he didn't act in it. He had enough to do behind the scenes, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty intense. There's a lot that went into this. Is there some narrative issues potentially? I wouldn't necessarily call them narrative issues. I think narrative decisions that were made. But this film just allows you to sort of like think about what you want, what you think could happen. So yeah, I don't know. It's pretty nuts, pretty crazy the work that went into it. Anyone else? I'm dying over here. I'm talking. I'm trying to drink some water. You guys got anything else you want to add?
Not me.
Wow. I mean, so yeah, everything about what you just said, Johnny, is remarkably impressive. I was really locked in the beginning. I felt myself getting less locked in as it proceeded.
Yeah, I think the tension was there all along for the most part, but yeah, I think at times it did towards the end maybe lose me a little bit.
And maybe it was the time of as I'm saying, it's a bad film. I'm not. I think we can. I'm fascinated by some ending conversations, but the achievement this director did is pretty fucking dope. Did it work for any of us? Did it work for me? I struggled as it proceeded because I'm like, I'm all in. And I know it kind of lost Marion a little bit early on.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was a particular scene that I thought was there was a stovetop scene, and that was pretty intense. Towards the end.
The stuffing? You talking about the stuffing? No, I'm just kidding. I know what you mean.
Right.
Yeah, it was a little intense. Yeah.
That was there, and it almost seemed like this wasn't found footage, but it had some found footage elements.
Yeah, it seemed like there was some elements to it. Not that it was like anything horrific happening in that, but it was like home movies, I guess you could say,
And it was PC.
Well, it also has. I was just gonna say, well, it has that grain aspect to it to give it like that, maybe possible VHS quality as opposed to like say a super high 8 or digital. The nighttime scenes, particularly inside the cabin, were really well done. They're not particularly scary; they're just creepy. You got pitch black going on in certain rooms. You got like some light going on in one room, and on the other side you'll have like pitch black, so only one half of the screen is like lit up slightly, but in that light, you see the late night fog wafting in, and it just looks so good. There's a real ambiance and atmosphere to this that's really hard to ignore. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I just don't feel like the scares pay off, if any at all. The reaction to them is good and the intensity is there, but pretty much as they say, the journey is better than the destination, and that is basically true here in this movie.
Aries, did this hit a little close to home for you at times?
I'm really at a loss with this movie.
I kind of figured.
What little I thought of this movie, I thought even less the more I heard you talking about this movie. I really don't even want to go into it because it delves into my own personal opinions with certain things and based on things you were saying with the interview.
All right. Well, it's your prerogative. If you want to say something, go for it. But if not, that's fine. Well, I think we're getting close to the end here, so maybe we should head to the verdict on this one and kind of wrap things up.
Trick or treat, baby. I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, verdict time. We're going to let you know whether Sator was a trick or a treat. Any final thoughts we may have, MZ?
It's shot beautifully. The sound is impeccable. The acting is decent. The locations is claustrophobic, even though a lot of it takes place outdoors. But the fact that this is done by pretty much behind the scenes by one guy is really an achievement in and of itself, and that has to be acknowledged. But I still feel that there's some sort of a disconnect in the film that I don't think it follows through completely of what it wants to achieve. It's almost there, and I just don't think it gets there. That's not to say this is a bad film. It's definitely not. It looks awesome, and I'm going to give this a tepid treat because of that. The story does take a hit. There are no scares. There's intensity, but no scares. But I will say I'd give this a tepid treat because of the production value that's in this film. Very well done. But I'm going to give this a tepid treat regardless.
All right. I think we know what's coming, but let's make it official, Aries.
I'm not gonna. Even before this discussion, I found this movie very boring. Visually, it did nothing for me. I was really kind of surprised you guys were speaking of how well you thought it looked. It did nothing for it. Not that I thought it looked bad, but it wasn't anything above and beyond anything else. The story, there was nothing of a story. And as you spoke about how the director came about the story, I don't want to get preachy. I didn't like how he went about things. I thought you know what? I thought things. I will tell people not to watch this movie. This movie is a trick, in my opinion.
Okay, Michael Rave Shadow.
Yeah, I am fascinated by the story of this picture. I am impressed by it was overall a one-man show. I mentioned before, my engagement got less and less as the movie progressed. I am down to see what this dude does next. I don't know. This is definitely not a party movie by any stretch. I'm not sure if I need to watch it again, but I am definitely fascinated what this guy could do. Fucking weird, man. This fucking grandmother fucking talked to a demon, did imaginary fucking automatic writing or whatever the fuck. That's fucking crazy. But I would agree with MZ. I would say this is a tepid treat, but stay tuned for this guy because he's got some good stuff in him.
All right. So for me, I'm going to kind of echo similar verdicts to Raven Shadow and to MZ. I do think that this, I mean, Ares does spend a lot of time in the woods, so maybe it's not as beautiful to him since he's used to seeing it. But I think the setting was really, really awesome. It was filmed in Northern California, so that's where they do get snow there as well. And so I think that it was just at times some of the shots were just breathtaking for me. And I think that it had a really interesting concept. I didn't necessarily pay off as well for me as I would have hoped, but the talent is very much on display for Jordan Graham, and I'm really interested to see what he's going to do next. I think that this is a good movie, and it's one that I might want to revisit at some point because maybe I could, knowing what the ending is and what happens, maybe I can view it a little differently leading up to that. But I think that there is some creepy stuff, like when he's looking at the deer camera footage, like, and he kind of like that moment where he jumps and kind of sees something. I thought that was really, really cool, really well done. And also, like, the way darkness is shot in this, I thought was good because it leaves a lot to the imagination. And there is one scene where there actually was a person. I had to actually rewind because T-Dog was like, "Hey, was that a person?" And we rewound, and there was like a person in the darkness. That woman Evie, who was, pretty creepy. And also I wanted to call it the way that Evie spoke. Did you guys hear the modulation on her voice? Not every single line that she did, but like it was like, yeah, there was like a low, like, oh, like creepy sounding voice underneath. A lot of a lot of the audio was very subtle, and as you said, like when you hear like the whispering in like in other languages, like it was just almost like speaking in tongues or something. It was like, that stuff was really cool. Ray Chow, you gonna say something?
I would recommend. I did watch this with the subtitles on.
I actually did too, because there was a couple things I missed. It's almost like a mumblecore movie at times. Like they're like, blah, 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 and I really was having trouble making it out. But in a sense, I think sometimes it enhanced the experience to, because I don't know. It was almost like mumblecore to a point where it was difficult to hear what was being said at times. Other times not so much.
Agreed. No, Marion put him on because she knows I'm fucking going deaf too.
Deaf and blind.
But, yeah, I'm off. This is bad. It's not good over here.
Just don't get that dumb part. You don't want that. Oh shit!
Too late.
Too late.
God damn it! I gotta stop playing fucking pinball.
You're the pinball wizard?
Yeah, I'm gonna be the new pinball wizard.
So yeah, no, I think this will be a tepid treat for me. Just the way it was shot and the work that went into this, I think is just damn impressive. And I mean, overall, I would say the story for me and the payoff might be a trick, but overall, I think that the work that was done on this was so impressive that it's just gonna move the needle a little bit over the line for me. So this is a tepid treat, and Yeah, I've seen this pop up on some people's best of lists for top 10 horror film of the year. So, like there's 3 tepid treats and a trick. So, your mileage may vary, but some people are raving about this, and it's showing up in some top 10 best of lists. So, just kind of check it out for yourself. It's on Shudder. All right, so that is going to do it and wrap up our discussion of Sator and also of Advent Calendar. And let's see. Next week. All right, next week. Let me just see when this one's coming out. I just want to verify. So this one's coming out on Tuesday. So if you guys happen to watch one earlier, watch the other one. But the film we're going to be doing next week, or the films, I should say, is a film I've been looking forward to checking out for, I don't know, a year and a half now. Originally saw trailers in theaters before the pandemic. And it just kept getting delayed because of COVID. So, but it finally got a release in theaters. And it is going to be getting a VOD release in just a few days now. And that movie is Antlers. And it is produced by Guillermo del Toro. And let me just pull up the info. The director, by the way, Raven Shadow, it stars, or I don't know if she stars, but features Kerry Russell.
Oh, TV's Felicity?
Yes.
Good for her.
Yeah. It's directed by Scott Cooper. I know that name. What has he done? He's actually acted in some stuff, but as a director, okay, he did.
Scott Cooper, American Beauty. Was he the?
No. Oh, he did. He directed that film Black Mass, about Whitey Bulger. Whitey Bulger.
Oh, okay.
With Johnny Depp as Whitey.
Yep.
So he did that movie. He did another movie called Hostels. I don't think I saw that one. It's it looks like a historical drama western with Christian Bale and Rosamund Pike called Hostels. And what else? There's another one I thought looked familiar here. Out of the Furnace. Do you know that one? Casey Affleck, your boy, Raven Shadow. It's got Christian Bale, Casey Affleck, Woody Harrelson, Zoe Saldana.
Treat.
Sam Shepard. Willem Dafoe. Forrest Whitaker.
Wait, that's what watching.
No. It's one of his other movies, Out of the Furnace from 2013.
Can we watch that fucking movie?
No. You can.
You're free to watch it if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it, man.
I gotta watch the movies. What's the movie again? Play back the entire message. Send me what's the movie with everybody that's awesome?
Out of the Furnace from 2013.
All right, Eric, do you want to come over and watch Out of the Furnace and Street Smart with me?
It's on Showtime if you have that.
We can get it.
All right. Well, anyways, but next week we're doing Antlers, which it looks like it's going to drop on VOD on December 21st. So we'll just have a couple days to check it out once it drops. And we will also be doing a film that I've seen, once again, showing up on some best of lists, and a film that we almost did a few months ago, but for whatever reason just kind of got pushed down when some newer stuff came out. Sorry, Aries. But it's another subtitle movie. We're going to be doing a film called Knocking, and it's in Swedish.
At least it's not French.
We'll be doing Antlers and Knocking.
Knockers?
Knocking.
Knocking Das Antlers.
Knocking off.
That's an episode title for next week.
Funny. Save that.
Oh man.
All right, can we circle back to the Felicity comment? How do you know who's in Felicity? Raven's Shadow.
It was a big fucking show on the CW, man, back in the way.
I'm familiar that the show exists, but when he said that name, it said nothing to me. You spouted that off like you watched every episode.
No, well, listen, I like, well, fine. I like Nipsey Russell, and that makes me think of Carrie Russell, and then I think of Noxzema, and think of all the controversy when she cut her.
Okay,
you
had to open up your mouth.
Yeah, you're not helping your situation. See, the three of us didn't know she did commercials.
Well, first of all, I'm not proud of my situation. I'm just saying that I know certain things.
You had to ask him a question, hi, Aries. You had to ask him a question.
What I do know,
you know, it's entertaining.
Raven Chat, what I would say is Carrie Russell from Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker, as Zori Bliss.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's wearing a helmet. I mean, I think she was also in the Urban Legend with Michael Rosenbaum, my boy. You know, she didn't have to wear a fake helmet.
Jeez, why didn't you say that?
Because I didn't have a chance to get to it, because I wanted to cover the Noxzema conversation. But yeah, she's Zoe Bliss, Zoe Bell. Who is she? She was like a bounty hunter?
Yes.
All right. Didn't see her face. Didn't see her hair. A lot of curls.
Oh, that's why you know her, because of the hair.
Well, listen. She wore a red. Listen. I can't.
I am listening. You gotta talk.
Well, I am enunciating, but no, this is the biggest fucking star on the planet in the late '90s. Not biggest star on the planet, but she's very popular. And he wants zero like he knows, but he knows.
All right. She was moderately popular on a UHF frequency.
Well, that's what we had back then in the late '90s.
Yeah, and then she cut her hair short, and her career just died after that.
Felicity, created by J.J. Abrams.
Yeah. Who also was in Star Wars. Shit, that's why she was
the
in
connection, yeah. And also created by Matt Reeves, who is doing the new Batman fucking movie.
Nice.
What the fuck?
If only
J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves? Like, I've never even seen Felicity. Isn't it just like a normal sort of like drama? Romance?
Yeah, I mean,
Shadow?
As a young girl trying to make her way any way that she can in the world. You know what I mean? That's got problems. Hates and fears her.
Oh,
She's not Mary Tyler Moore.
It's got Scott Speedman as well, Raven Shadow in it. Oh, and it's got Pachman. Greg Grunberg is in it.
Yeah, man, it's fucking.
That's another J.J. Abrams deep dive, and probably why he cast him in Force Awakens.
Oh, Marion, let's get Felicity.
It's a weird pedigree though. Like,
right?
I mean, I've never seen Felicity. I had no interest really. It's got Donald Faison.
I do love Donald Faison.
I know you do.
Oh,
Scrubs.
Weird.
He's in Scrubs.
So was Carrie Russell apparently. Anyways, all right.
She was in Scrubs?
I think this is the first time we're doing a Carrie Russell picture.
Yeah. Let's do a Carrie Russell retrospective.
Yeah.
Patreon.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's chomping at the bit for that. But so been looking forward to this one. So we will check out Antlers and Knocking next week.
Felicity.
Yep. All right. I think that's it. Actually, I don't think we have any voice messages this week. Let me just double check on that. Make sure nothing came in earlier in the week that I forgot about. All right. I don't think we have anything. I'm surprised. I thought, what I'm surprised about is that I know a lot of people had checked out Advent Calendar. So I was actually hoping to hear from some folks to see if people had watched it and what they thought of it. But You could always send in a message next week if you guys have thoughts. Creepy Girl literally just replied asked 12 minutes ago, did you already review Advent Calendar? Yes, we're actually wrapping up.
Although EF Contentment did two great blogs on both.
Yeah.
Recently.
I saw his Sator one. I saw he posted the Advent Calendar before I saw it, so I didn't want to read it. But I'll have to go back and check it out. But yeah, so all right, well, that's what we're doing next week. No voice messages for now. Just to review, we got some big stuff coming up in 2 weeks from tonight on December 30th, the last show of the year. And it'll also be the last show for MZ on Trick or Treat Radio. Sad times, but all good things. ... Raven Chow, you got a question?
Well, no. I mean, to be fair, I mean, this is this will be his second sabbatical, right? I mean, listen.
So you think he's coming back? Is what you're trying to say?
I think he's looking for attention. I think
he's looking for attention.
He's just trying to. He's full of himself. It's fine. Spread your wings. Go be a caterpillar.
Go be a caterpillar.
Become a moth. No, it's fun.
That it?
No, you're always welcome. Let's just say that. Let's just say you're on a sabbatical.
We're not gonna have a party for him. He's going on a fucking sabbatical. All right.
Taking a break. We'll see you.
All right. Well, so we got that in on December 30th, MZ's last show, and in addition on January 1st, we will do the Monster Beast Theater Movie Club. We still got to pick the movie. We'll do that this week on Discord, and then we will do the blackout tapes afterwards. Raven Shadow will host the blackout tapes, and also 2 opportunities for you to get involved in voice messages. One for MZ's final show. You can send in anything about MZ, your favorite story, your favorite MZ moment. You want to roast him, you want to just yell at him and be angry at him for leaving, whatever you want to do, send it in to podcast@trickortreatradio.com and just let me know it's for MZ in the subject. And also top 5 for the year-end show. We'll be recording the year-end show on the final day of December of the year, December 31st. So make sure you get those to us. You can be anything, top 5, anything, movies, films or movies, same thing, music, albums, comics, books, whatever. So get those into us, and look forward to hearing everyone's top 5 lists like we do every year. So, all right, that is gonna do it. So let's say goodbye, starting with Monster Zero.
Arrivederci, douchebags.
All right, Aries.
Goodbye.
And Raven Shadow.
The fast love hard survive with your mask on.
All right, everybody, that's going to do it. So thank you for tuning in to episode 490. We are getting so close to 500. It's insane. So we'll also have that in February sometime. I think it's the end of February. But we appreciate all of our Patreon supporters, of course, for helping us and to support keeping this going. Everyone who hung out in the chat room, everyone who watched live, and everybody who will check this out on the podcast feeds. We love all of you, but we do love our Patreon supporters just a little bit more. All right, well, that's it. We'll see you guys next week for episode 491. We'll be doing Antlers and also Knocking. See you then.